So they don't know what to call it. Some of them attribute it to an act of God. That is the way God wants it. So let it be so. Now, if you do that, so that's how we're able to find out that the farmers actually know what their problems are. They know what it is, but to now name it, that this is the cause of our problem, that was where the challenge was. Knowledge of climate change conditions that affect the farmers. Yes, we're able to do that. The climate change condition affected the farmers. The study found out that about the highest percentage was about excessive rainfall, followed by high temperature, pest infestation, late rainfall, and lastly, less rainfall. Now, what the study intends to do, that was, do you understand what understanding digital solution to climate change? That's where we now came. To understand whether this farmers see how digital solutions and climate change interact, and how digital solutions should be able to help them to overcome most of these their challenges. That was when we now came down to school them from what they already know, see what the problems are, see what you need to do, see what you have done so far, and we were able to find out that, yes, they know, about 57.5% of them, and about 42.5% of them said, in its entirety, they do not know that there's a synergy between what we are trying to develop to do to them and what they're doing. But upon explanation, they were quite relaxed. Now, we try to find out some of the digital financial solutions that are being used by the farmers. We looked at USSD, POS, ATM, e-banking, and some others. We discovered that the greater percentage of them, about 76.6%, was the POS, which was a common financial solution which the farmers use. How were they using them? One, they had their phones though, which they used to call their customers, but they never knew they were using digital technology to do business. They use their phone to call customer. Oh, I have this, so please come and buy you. The customers will come. Where will I meet you? How shall we meet? They did not know they were applying digital technology in their family business, in their sales, in their marketing, in the purchases of inputs. Oh, I need 2 curtains. Do you have? I want to come to that market day to come and purchase. And they ask you to come. They're already using these technologies, but they never attached it as to something that they could use to do what? Mitigate effect of climate change. So when we discovered that what was most predominant in the place was the POS, how does it work for them? We were able to find out. What were the charges and the costs incurred in the cost of using that? And all associated costs, we were able to find out. On average, we got what the costs were. Remember, I told you that the essence of this is whatever are the feedbacks from the farmers, whatever are the information, is what we now help the people that are doing something that will help them come out of these climate change-related issues. Now, having said this, have they been able to obtain some facilities? How much did they pay as interest rate? When they go to use the POS, what were the problems? Do they have banks in their places? How far away are the banks? Do they have? Don't they have? Do they have networks when they want to make their calls? Or do they carry their phones up like this looking for network? These are all the challenges, because we know what is in the collectivity of what we need to do in the research. When all those problems were found out, we are given to us. We were able to assess them, analyze them, and we came to discover that it is now this which we will do that will send back to the people. Those in the finance, those in telecoms, those in other units. These are the problems from the farmers, and because this is what is common amongst them and what they usually do, which means that you have to develop something that will now be like an enhancement of what they already know. It's not like you're bringing something that totally afresh. They know something, they have indigenous knowledge, you build on their indigenous knowledge, and that's exactly what the IT people are doing that will eventually be deployed to the farmers. Now, I think we have to, for time, they're looking at me and time. Yeah. Yeah, so let me see how I can round up. Now, there are some basic practices. We call them good agronomic practices. By GAP, I mean the good agronomic practices, what some people call smart agricultural practices. We identify them and discover that the ones that the farmers have been using much more than the others was inorganic fertilizer. So it was mulching, followed by inorganic fertilizer, and then ridging, and the rest of them. Were the farmers willing, and did they have the willingness to encourage others to use the DS in their farming? Yes, they are willing. Then digital literacy skills, whether they were open for the training. We found out what their training level was in terms of digital literacy. Afterwards, what was about, the least we got there was 5.5, and the highest we got was 32.7. And upon classification, we found it as low literacy. So, and high literacy was about 14.1%. So this will give us an indication of what they are open to learn. And in that, are they open to have some skill digital literacy training? The one they received, they told us, and then we also found out the one that they have not received so far. And in such areas, and which means that such areas where the farmer did not receive such trainings is now where we will now emphasize on, so that they will know what they have not known before and also improve on the one they have already known. Yeah, we looked at areas of interest in digital literacy, which are attempted, and I know my colleagues also looked at those things. Now, summarily, the summary of the major findings of this research is written against the backdrop. There are three major expected outcomes that are driven by three major actors. That is climate change, digital technology development, and novel financing scheme for the farmers. This is not forgetting the enablers of the technology. By that I mean the government. Remember, there is nothing you develop. The government is an enabler. That any technology you develop without the government enabling you, providing the enabling environment, you cannot deploy it to anybody. And so we also consider this into consideration. And that's why I said this is not forgetting enablers of the technology and the finance scheme so developed. In the light of the above, the research is summarized thus. Given the problems of the farmers, it is important that such practices that mitigate the effect of climate change should be improved and encouraged to the farmers. Though some farmers are aware to a reasonable extent of some digital technologies, but most of the digital technologies used in the states, which the farmers use in their states, were the POS and the rest of them. The implication is that whatever should now be developed for the farmers should be such that we now improve upon what the farmers know, so that adoption, usage, and sustained use will not be so much delayed. Key recommendations. Following the findings of the research, the study recommends that the farmers should intentionally build resilience, because we discovered that they wait for financial loss to arise before they begin to build resilience. So it's important the farmers build resilience before climate change issue before them. And given the infrastructural deficit which has affected the farmers, even with their level of technology already in use, the government should step up infrastructural facilities in the remote areas so that the unreached can be reached. Very important. We also of the view that high-tech digital solutions are not available in so many areas. So what should be done will be such that will be amenable and compatible with the farmers and their usage. A very important and striking recommendation here is this. When the VC of Al-Hikmah was talking, he talked about establishing the University of Agriculture. And I was muffled. Because part of our key recommendations here is this. These key recommendations can be mainstreamed